I want to introduce an episode of Mike and I actually getting to speak at Digital Davos. Now, Digital Davos 2021 was held completely online, so it gave us the opportunity, even though we didn't actually have to fly to, or get to fly actually to Switzerland. Mike and I were speaking at Digital Davos. Mike actually on this video comes in right at 2:15, and he's going to give an introduction of himself, and then we come back, and actually at minute 4:30 you'll see me do an introduction of myself, which I think I do brilliantly, and then we actually remind me to also introduce Presaga because that's what the whole thing was about, and that goes on till about 8 minutes in, where you'll see me talk specifically about what we've done with XBOM on HyperLedger, and that's something that we're quite proud of and very excited about. Into minute 14, you'll find that Mike actually waxes eloquently on our monetary policy and how we're going to be building a stabilized token and how that's going to change how commerce happens. Then the last piece will be just me wrapping it all up at 27:10, and you'll see just a little bit about how we're building fan engagement, and we're building basically the community engagement as well. So it's a great play. Hope you enjoy it, and feel free to ask more questions down below. We'll definitely engage with more of these as time goes on, and be sharing more and more of the conversations we're having with the planet. Have a great day.
Pavel Jakovlev is our moderator. Sorry if I butchered your name. Pavel is founder and host at White Spaces Show, evangelist at Swiss ICT Investor Club, and founder and strategy consultant at Jakovlev.co. And would you like to take it away from here, Pavel?
Let's just start with maybe going around our panel with a few introductions, and I'm seeing Michael being the first one, passing it on to you.
Oh, hey, thank you very much, Pavel. I appreciate that. And I guess it's good to be in the top, on the top square, top middle square. Yeah, my name is Michael Holdmann, and I am CEO and founder of Presaga. I've been involved in the tech industry for 5 decades now, and I've been involved mainly in telecommunications, networking, in the internets and software development. Not myself, I'm a strategist, evangelist, and in biz dev, and came to this organization through seeing a need to decentralize Internet of Things and smart city technologies, which had become just walled gardens, and see a big drop in forecasting on what could be within those cities. So, and very happy to be here.
Thank you, Michael. Next on is Kazim. Why don't you tell us more about yourself?
Thank you, Pavel. Great being here with the rest. My name is Kazim Atilla. I'm the founder CEO of IQONIQ. I've been an entrepreneur for over 25 years, traveled to more than 60 countries to which my businesses took me. So very blessed to see many different countries, cultures, people, learned a lot. Been in many different sectors and businesses, from entertainment, technology, energy, property development, etc. And the last 3 years actually been mainly concentrated on fan engagement, which we started the initial steps actually 2006-07, and it has been evolved over many years. We saw a huge gap in this fragmented market. The sports and the entertainments are fragmented. The fans are fragmented over many different channels, if that is social media channels, dedicated apps, websites, platforms, you name it. And we want to actually bring that all together under one roof and rewarding the loyal fans as they should be. So, which we will talk, of course, more about, but that's in a nutshell what a little background about us.
Thank you, Kazim. And with that segue, I want to give it to Jay Moore, who I don't think slept for the past 48 hours. If my if my Telegram tracking serves me right.
It's been a minute since I've had a good night's sleep, but yeah, thank you. Yeah, actually, I'm a little used to this. This is my 12th startup, so I've done this a few rodeos before. But my background has been in the last 25 years doing most of my work in the video game industry and have helped build both middleware as well as the actual games themselves. And my expertise actually gets into communities and community branding and helping people to understand that you no longer have customers, you have community, and really understand that if you're not building an ecosystem around your enterprise, you probably aren't building anything that has the ability to scale well and compete in the larger marketplace. So we're excited. I've come to this with Michael actually on Presaga. I'm the chief marketing officer and co-founder, and we're actually seeing where if we can take the blockchain to where it really could go rather than where it is today, that it can deliver the kind of promises it's made over the last decade or so. And we're excited to see those kind of breakthroughs bring a whole different approach to everything from, you know, dealing with the unblockchain as well as the unbanked, and dealing with the people who are out there who really do need their quality of life to be accelerated, especially with the movement of AI. We see that there's a place for being able to create a new mechanism or metrics for wealth, and we believe blockchain is part of that.
Thank you so much, Jay. I think it would be a good segue into maybe introducing Prasaga as well and giving you a bit of airtime.
Oh, sure. And you know, this is something where we started the roadmap to here. Michael and I we wrote the white paper back in 2017. We had a message server that would really deal with interoperability. So we were solving IoT smart city issues, and we had a dated marketplace that we were ready to launch on whatever blockchain would scale the best. And once we'd raised enough money to be dangerous back in the 2018 timeframe, we sat down to really look at every blockchain and every project at a protocol level, and spent months, actually about 3 months, researching pretty much every protocol that's out there. And we found that all of them failed at one law or another, whether it was Amdahl's law or Metcalfe's law. They were just not going to scale. And that's when we pivoted, decided, you know what, I guess we don't just build a smart city IoT marketplace. We actually have to build a blockchain first. And that's what we've done over the last 3 years, basically. And we've had some breakthroughs. The exciting part is that we've been able to bring out one piece of it, and that's called our XBOM. It's an actual first-class object model operating system like you have on your watch or your phone or your computer. And we've got that running on the blockchain on HyperLedger. And it opens up all the things that we have with operating systems. You no longer have to worry about how the blockchain works. You can write your application. And all the code's running on the blockchain, so you get global code reuse. And that allows you to start scaling your development and getting to market 100 times faster. Kind of like when we started to deal with cloud, we didn't have to build our own racks in our own facilities. That was allowing a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of innovation to happen just by having those resources. So again, that's where we're at, is we've been able to prove that we can build a scalable blockchain that will go to the full speed of the internet and have full parallelization. And we've got that in our white paper. So we'd love to have more people look at it.
Thank you so much, Jay. And I'm very excited to see a true, you can say level 2, almost level 3 application on top of blockchain, and yeah, more power to you. And from the operating system, I think we're going into an actual product, and this is what Kazim at IQONIQ is building. So a very exciting platform, a whole ecosystem of things. So maybe if you want to share a few words about IQONIQ.
No, definitely, Pavel. My belief is always, looking at the market. I mean, one of the things that Jay said, about community, that's what, we have been doing for over 20 years, really looking at communities, right? What many people do, what shall I do? Oh, let's do another coffee shop, selling coffee because everybody drinks. Okay, what kind of solution do you bring? And, there is not much to it, right? So my goal always have been identify the target group, find out their problems, their needs, their wishes, and create a solution. And that is exactly what we have done with IQONIQ. We have seen, many times, in different technologies, if it's, internet 20 years ago, whereby everybody jumped on the wagon, right? Like the Gold Quest. So when there was the Gold Quest in the late 1800s, early 1900s, that every, Tom, Dick, and Harry, from bakery, from accountant, they saw like, oh, wow, you can find gold in the West Coast. They didn't know anything about how to do with the gold, what gold really was, how they could, do it. They just went with it. That's what we see every time in the new technologies, right? If it was with internet, everybody jumped in the wagon. The first 3 years was really terrible. And we see that in the blockchain as well, the first 2-3 years. And in the blockchain is nothing new. I mean, it's a methodology, right? It's been a long time. But the last, from 2016, 18, and everybody created something, from, let's decentralize this. So they didn't look at the product, as you said. From our side, we identified the target group. So our main business was sport and entertainment. We are, very large, lovers of sport and entertainment, very frustrated of what we've seen. And we have seen that the target groups, the rights holders, clubs, idols, celebrities, the fans, and last but not least, brands, it was a very fragmented market. Each had their own problems, needs, requirements, and wishes. Once we found that out, after speaking to many of them, we actually created the solution. So what we did was, we are focusing 100% on all sports and entertainment to bring under one roof. As everyone knows, there are many dedicated apps for football, basketball, tennis, boxing, Formula One, music, movies, gaming, you name it. But there is no hub, a home where they all come together. And it's exactly what IQONIQ plays in. We are not in the market to, revamp things and being this killer product or this killer solution. No, we are creating a solution for an existing problem, which is global wide. And if we look at it with this target groups, we have created their own solution for each of this target group, because each of them has their own problems, own requirements, own wishes. And that is what we actually have done. And if we look into the market on a sport fan, let's say if I'm a football fan, I'm also maybe a Formula One fan or a boxing fan or a music. Does that mean that I need to download 4, 5, 6, 7 different apps? I'm already, following my club or an idol on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok, on their dedicated app. So there's a lot of fragmentation in the market. Also, as a fan, a loyal fan, I don't get a real reward being a loyal fan. I buy my tickets, I buy my jerseys, I buy the games, I buy stuff, etc. And that is exactly what we have built, a fan engagement platform whereby we bring all sports and entertainment under one roof, and we are rewarding the fans based on their engagement, interaction with their heroes, and having everything in one place. And if we look at the user cases like YouTube, which is, everything related to online video, you can find there. If it's, on accommodation booking, on booking.com, you can find everything from 1-star to 5-star in one single place. Spotify, having all genres in one single place. And this is where IQONIQ comes in. All sports and entertainment in one single place, whereby also we are rewarding our fans and users by engaging and interacting.
Thank you, Kazim. And it seems like it's a global thing that you're kind of taking on, and that would also kind of be a segue onto Prasaga and some of the things that Jay and Michael are tackling. And I think what's even more exciting for me is that there's a monetary policy aspect in its core, and this is something that I know that Michael is particularly passionate about. So maybe if you want to elaborate a bit on this topic specifically.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And thank you, Pavel. I'll try not to babble too long, but I do get excited and passionate about this. So, the other thing that we studied is, and it took longer than the 3 or 4 months of writing 200 pages and over 100,000 words on all the protocols, all the consensus models of all the major chains and such out there to find out, which one we could use. One of the biggest problems that we found was in the monetary policy, or should I say lack of monetary supply policies that we see across the chains. So you have every chain that we can see going out there has been taken over by, 95% of this market industry is probably traders now, doing speculative with these coins. And what we've seen is a huge volatility within these markets, and no way that we can see to utilize it to buy consumables. Everybody, I believe, knows the story of the $800 million pizza or whatever it comes to in today's world, where somebody bought a pizza with 10,000 Bitcoin back in the early 2010s, I think 2012 or 2013 or something, actually. And that we see a problem with that. How are you going to create a currency, a global currency, if nobody's willing to give up the method of exchange to purchase consumables or even invest in things that will grow at a lower rate at a lower value than the thing that you're buying them with? On the other side, who's going to take money for something that tomorrow could be down 40%, right? So we saw a huge issue with volatility within this market. So we looked at the different types, and every one that we see is a race to zero. It's either like, for instance, with Bitcoin, we see by 2041, you will have all of the Bitcoin will be mined. And then I think it's the last Bitcoin now goes in Satoshi. Well, based on our calculations, that's about 30 years that the last Satoshi will be mined. The question that I have, and this is what everybody in Bitcoin always asks, tries to say, oh yeah, power will be so much cheaper. How do you know? I mean, there's a lot of intangibles in there that you're making assumptions on, that you're going to be able to mine Bitcoin or Satoshi for just transaction rate, and a miner will still be able to cover the cost of power and utilization of the CPU and such. Doesn't make sense to us. It's a race to zero. The other ones are using monetary policy. Well, they'll just randomly burn or on schedule burn an amount of token. That, do you really need to burn that amount? Or are you burning enough in order to stabilize your currency? The third issue that we saw is when it comes to stable coins. And this is kind of what goes back to gold. My CTO, David Bieberman, and also co-founder, reminds us of this. One of the reasons that gold was taken off of the standard is because of the fact that we could not fractionalize it past an atom. So as with Bitcoin, there's going to be a certain level that you can get that down to. Once you can't get that down to there, then how do you adjust your basket of assets? So if you have a stable coin and you bring in a basket of assets, and then those assets either go up drastically, and I'll use gold as a demonstration. You have gold, it's $1 an ounce. So you have enough coin out there to match as much gold as you have, or much tokens out there to match $1 because you want it to be stable. Now gold goes to $10 an ounce. You have two options. You either you can print a bunch more of your coin, of your token, in order to get to that dollar because you have to, or you take reserves out of, or the asset out of your bucket because you have to even it out. It has to equal K, I believe is what Dave always says. And are you going to do that by adding assets, or are you going to do that by taking token or your coin back from the market? Again, it doesn't make sense. We don't see how you can stabilize a coin to a dollar if it's based on external values and metrics. So we see the way to do a stabilized currency is to do an approach that that has a monetary policy like a fiat, where it's based on the internal metrics of the actual blockchain, and you have something called the equation of exchange. An equation of exchange is 4 values, and you have monetary supply and velocity, which every single blockchain in the world can see. They know exactly how much supply they have. They know exactly how much in real time it's going back and forth. On the fiat side, they can see money supply, but they can't see velocity. That's why you always have a 3-month delay in the real GDP. And then you have on the other side, that equals the price of product, average price of product, and the product, the GDP. No blockchain can see that GDP. Smart contracts aren't able to push out pricing, the price that was paid and what the category was that it was paid in, steel or something. So on the fiat side, though, you can see that. So what we believe is that you have to come to a point where you can measure each one of those values in real time. It's not about building a speculative token. It's about building an economy where you have productivity of business and people purchasing those items that are coming through the business, and creating a monetary supply that's based on the rate of transaction of that. And we have other ways that we've figured out how to actually burn token. Instead of just randomly taking it out, we can do it algorithmically. So we see that in order for there to be a global currency, we're not here in any way to compete or take out Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything. They're great stores of value. They have their place, but they're not they're not going to be a global currency that's stabilized and allows people to utilize it for their everyday purchases. And that's really where we see a monetary policy has to be, and how it's going to get wide adoption of Bitcoin, of the blockchain technology.
Thank you, Michael. On this note, I'd like to go to Kazim. So IQONIQ is launching its own utility token, the IQONIQ, but there's a diverse range of different tokens within the ecosystem. So maybe you can walk us through how things would work.
No, definitely. I mean, I like what Michael said. I mean, also what Jay said in the beginning, about community ecosystem. That is exactly what we have built. I mean, our main core business that we have focused on is fan engagement. Is creating a platform where we bring all the sports and entertainment in one single place, Pavel, and where the fans can come in and fulfill their needs from content, gamification, web shop, ticketing, merchandise, VR, AR, live score, statistic, voting, you name it, in one single place. And exactly like, Jay Michael said, if we look at the token side where people issue tokens, it was always like, how can we issue tokens? What can we do? What kind of value we bring? But what is the solution do you bring? Where can I use it? For what can I use it? Technically, I could say, yeah, let me bring something like this out and I do 10 million limited edition and I create a value to it. You can't make more. You can't do nothing with it. There is all speculation. Yes. I mean, we talk about speculation. What I was hearing in the previous meeting about Zimbabwe currency, or at the Venezuela Bolivara, that today is worth X, tomorrow is Y. You can't even buy bread with it. This is the same thing with Bitcoin, right? Today is 40,000 and tomorrow is 20,000. So how can you use it as a currency? Then it's no difference from Bolivara currency in Venezuela or a Zimbabwe currency in Zimbabwe. So it's very difficult. So what we have created and what's needed, it's an ecosystem. Why do we need a token? What can we do with the token? What will it give benefit to the ecosystem? That was the first main aspect. And what we done was, I'm flying 25 years. I'm staying 25 years in different hotels. And I learned 2 things. Loyalty, rewarding. So that was the frequent flyer programs of the airlines, and it was the different programs that the hotels had been developed to rewarding their customers, to say, hey, I can choose to fly from London to New York with British Airways, with Virgin, with American Airlines, whatever. And then once you had created this frequent flyer program, you would say, hey, okay, I am silver, I want to go to gold level, even though maybe I have a stopover with this airline, which I am a frequent flyer, I will use that because I get additional points and I can get to the gold level. So which is loyalty, which is, staying in one single place of earning those rewards. Same thing with the hotels. Hey, I like to stay with this because I can get to the next level. If I go to the next level and holding it and I stay more, I can get upgrades again. And it is exactly what we have designed our token element. So we have the IQONIQ token, which actually by owning and holding, it accelerates your benefits within the ecosystem. So that means if you earn, normally one IQONIQ loyalty points and you have the IQONIQ tokens, you would earn 2 loyalty points. If you have enough tokens that is in level 2, let's say, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. So silver, you earn gold, you earn 3. In platinum, you earn 4, which is the same thing with the frequent flyer program. Now, suddenly, I have a usage. There is a real reason what I can do with the token and not be just, 99% of a majority of the tokens be speculation. At the same time, I get rewards by owning my loyalty element. So that means, hey, I have here my tokens. I have my loyalty tokens, which is, digitalized. It's on blockchain. You know exactly what's going on. And then I utilize that to join contests to win prizes. So being in the bronze, let's say I win normal general admission tickets, at silver, VIP tickets, at gold, at hospitality tickets, and at platinum in a business lounge in a stadium. At bronze, I win a normal jersey. At silver, I win a signed jersey. At gold, a jersey with a meet and greet, etc. I'm sure you get it. So there is a usage. So we have the token, the main aspect, that allows to accelerate your benefits into the ecosystem. Then you earn your loyalty tokens, and these loyalty tokens you need to use actually to join a contest. And then also we are working on NFT tokens. And now that becomes very exciting. Because if we look at, the currencies and many other things, you can replace things with the other. With the NFTs, the non-fungible tokens, you really can issue it for one specific element. If that is, for the jersey, if that is for an event, if it's for a meet and greet, if it's for a money can't buy experience, anything actually in the world, you can utilize it and create a value for it. Again, utilizing it on blockchain, it creates an adding value. So we really went from the ecosystem, from the community, from the problem, need, requirements, and wishes, and created this robust platform whereby also with the tokens, now finally, I have a usage, I have a utility. Who doesn't understand the frequent flyer programs? Everyone has seen it, done it, experienced it, or part of it. Everyone is used by hotel programs, you name it. So that is how we have created a real usage and utility actually for the tokens, Pavel, whereby there is by holding it, you can benefit from it. It accelerates your benefits. And that makes the difference of how we actually have designed our token and the fan ecosystem and the usage of the token in the platform itself, that you can benefit from it, as Michael and Jay has said as well, how to use the right token and the blockchain to add value for the community and within the community.
Folks, I wish we could have this panel go on for the next at least an hour, because I think we got plenty of things to discuss. So maybe I'll move to the closing statements. Jay, Michael, anything to add in terms of how the future of blockchain technology would look like in an ideal scenario? And that's, I think we got maybe 1 or 2 minutes to do this. So we got to be—
Jay, I'll let you, who's building the community, take this one. You're on mute.
I am a lot like Michael. I can take a lot longer than 1 or 2 minutes, but I think the exciting part for me and what I look at is, so I built a small developer community around a video game engine that only about 250,000 people, and those developers actually changed the world by building games that are now on Xbox and all sorts of things. And we coined the term indie games. There wasn't such a thing. I see that right now, the kind of communities that can be built around blockchain are exponential to what we've seen in it. And I really appreciate, because even where you're going with the fan engagement, because I think if they can add value and have a way to participate, then the sport becomes as much about the fans as it does about the sport. You see that with streaming video games, where people watch people play games and actually play games today. And I think that is happening with blockchain, where if they can actually get more of the income and results that are being created by the wealth built on the blockchain, there's a way to incentivize human behavior far beyond what we're going to see with AI. There's a way to participate there. The future I'm trying to build with Presaga is to enable that to happen for the entrepreneurs and the new ventures that are going to be built on our blockchain, by giving them a global marketplace to take advantage of, while at the same time having strong economic ties into each region. So it'll be both built by people who live where they live and have a global market opportunity to take and exploit that across the network. And that's a network effect that I think no centralized organization should control. You shouldn't have Apple or Facebook or anybody be able to control all of mass communication or all of commerce. And I think that's where we can bring that ability to compete back to the individual, and the autonomy that they have over their assets is going to be crucial. Love to tell everybody more about what we're doing, but this was great. I really appreciate getting to come here and just see where we're going to go from here, because I think 2021 is going to be an amazing year. I look forward to it.
We're going to move into 2022 and meet in person, I hope.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Good evening.
Bye.